What's up Top 10 fam, hope you're having an awesome day. I'm your host Ayman Hassan and welcome back to another video. We do not learn. I think that's the biggest message I would take away from working at Most Amazing Top 10 if I left anytime soon. Like, humans just don't learn. Robots are just screwing us over left, right and center, and we're just there like, yeah, upgrade those robots, make more of them, of course. Robot soldiers, hell yeah, just add that to the shopping bag. Like, no people, no. No, that is all I have to say. These are the top 10 scary robots that lost control part 4. Starting us off with number 10 is the arm. This sounds like an absolute nightmare. I truly feel for the employee in this one. So back in May of 2007, a person working at Lenco Inc. was in the middle of repairing a robotic arm. The arm was created to basically remove CD cases from an injection molding machine. As they were repairing it, the robot started lashing out violently and circling its arm round and around, assaulting and hitting the employee multiple times. And mind you, these bots are strong even if their work doesn't need them to be, they just are by default. The employee suffered severe blunt force trauma to his head and ribs and was quickly taken to the hospital. Sadly, he died from his injuries 2 weeks later. Just imagine how unsuspecting they must have been, just innocently just trying to do their job, fix the arm, think about what they're gonna have for dinner later, and then robot Mike Tyson over here just had other plans like, nah B, knock you out, kill you too. Crazy. Coming in at number 9 is the ALVEY machine. So back in April of 2000, an ALVEY machine went rogue at Colorado's Blue Shift industrial factory. Now if you don't know what an ALVEY machine is, don't worry, because neither did I. So it's basically a robot that is used in the distribution of any packaged products, and it has 4 parts. Listen up people, it's about to get nerdy. Now the 4 parts are the computer, the carousel, the inserter and extruder car, and then a network of conveyor belts. So the factory does boxed beef, so the computer would get an instruction to fill an order, then the inserter and extruder car's robot arm would seek the selected carousel slot, get the beef, and then release the beef onto the conveyor belt. So that's basically what the robot's whole process is. I should honestly be on top 10 nerd for that. Honestly, that was a good explanation. Go me. Either way, a worker there had been hired to install platforms in the factory that made access to the machinery safer. Ah, the irony. And at this point, the robot wasn't off, it wasn't locked out, it was functioning and very much on. The employee wasn't wearing any protection, and as he was connecting a platform to the path of the inserted extruder car, the car hit the worker. He fell a whopping 10 feet and got caught in the path of the arm and then was pushed under the car. That obviously crushed the employee's head and killed him instantly. At number 8 we have the asphyxiation. Like, these are major keywords. Whenever I'm watching Forensic Files and people are getting killed 24/7, these are the words that get just thrown up there. Either way, back in December of 2001, it was actually on New Year's Eve. How unlucky is that? I mean, the whole event is unfortunate. The fact that it happened on New Year's Eve is probably the least of the person's concerns, but whatever, it still matters. Now at Junior Wheel Inc., an employee was cleaning up at the end of the day before clocking out. As he was cleaning, he made his way into a robot cell, and the robot was very much ready for action. The machinery immediately booted up, grabbed him by the neck, then pinned him under a wheel rim and asphyxiated him. Where did it even— honestly, can we just wait a minute? Where did it even get the thought or motivation to do that though? Like, the dude just walked in, didn't touch the robot, didn't press anything, but it just woke up and was like, time for blood. Like, what? Like, no. Filling on our 7th slot is the K5. Back in July of 2016, Nightscope Inc. developed a crime-fighting robot that they believed could intimidate criminals. And the bot was 5'3" inches, which is shorter than me, and weighed a whopping 300 pounds, and you'd think it resembled a mini Terminator, but it mostly resembled R2-D2 from Star Wars, but with like more cameras and flashing lights. And the bot has over 30 sensors that helps it gather real-time data and trigger immediate alerts if need be. So a few of these K5s were docked in a mall in Palo Alto and were patrolling the mall, you know, mall security guards. Now a 16-year-old boy ran towards the bot and it swerved out of the way since it was on patrol. The child then ran backwards and the K5 hit him on the head and he fell onto the ground. And as if it couldn't get worse, the robot then ran over his right foot and then it became swollen. As you can imagine, the kid was crying uncontrollably and all the K5s were docked until the investigation into the matter was completed. But still, what the hell? If anything, that kid had it coming. The robot swerved the first time, but it came back at it, and okay, fine, okay, the hit on the head was uncalled for, but I doubt it even like purposefully tried to run his foot over. It was probably just moving away and just ran his foot over in the process. Like, there's just no need to blame K5 for this. Really, it's the boy's fault. I don't care, come at me. Now at number 6 is the power cut, or rather the lack thereof. So back in June of 2007, at a factory located north of Stockholm, Sweden, a worker was carrying out some maintenance on a defective robot that was meant to lift big rocks. As he was approaching the robot, he thought he had just cut the robot's power supply off, but he hadn't. The robot came to life and grabbed his head into a literal chokehold strangle. Thankfully, the man defended himself and got away, but not before breaking 4 ribs and being this close to death. Now honestly, I feel like there are many parties at fault with this one. The worker for not double checking he'd actually cut off the power supply, the robot for just being defective and being back on its bull, and the company for not having proper safety procedures. That is all, Your Honor. That's all I have to say for the case. Coming in at number 5 is the backhanded hit. So back in December of 2012, a 38-year-old employee working at Sodacia, Sterling Heights, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, was working inside a robot work cell with the gates closed all around him. While he was working, he got hit in the head from behind by a transfer robot, and upon hearing that, you'd think he was probably knocked out or something, but no, that one hit crushed his neck and chest and killed him. Why are all these employees just throwing out safety precautions? Like, hello? I get how they probably think, oh, we've done it like a billion times, nothing's ever happened before, nothing will happen now. But that cockiness is how people die, folks. Remember that. Cockiness, death, they equal each other. I know your math teacher didn't teach you that, but I did. At number 4 is the dad joke. Now this one is quite creepy, and I don't think this is a bot losing control by any means. I just think it's a bot being extremely aware, like more aware than it's programmed to be. Either way, this one was shared by Redditor Probably Not You, who said their dad died back in October of 2016. A week after he died, the user and their mum were in their living room, not even talking or saying anything, and out of nowhere, Alexa says, "How do you make a Kleenex dance?" You put a little boogie in it. And since no one was talking, there was definitely no prompt for Alexa to even speak, and they even looked it up later and found no record of a prompt. And keep in mind, their dad had obviously interacted with Alexa and was obsessed with talking to her, so the user believes Alexa somehow knew their dad had died and was making a dad joke just to make them feel better, or the dad just possessed Alexa in that moment for a last parting dad joke to leave them with. Either way, the fact Alexa said it out of nowhere at the time she did is just very creepy, and you're probably like, why was your delivery of that dad joke so flat? Well, I hate dad jokes, that's why. Filling our number 3 slot is Clarice. Now this one's from Reddit user BlackwoodBear79, and they shared that about 2 years ago they got their mother-in-law Alexa for Christmas. Now the mother-in-law was a chronic insomniac and went to bed after 3 AM almost every day. And if that's being a chronic insomniac, then I am too. Like, I'm pretty sure all throughout high school and university I used to sleep at that time or later and then just like nap after class. No one gave me a damn Alexa for it. Where's my Alexa? Anyway, one night she was up quite late and was watching TV trying to fall asleep when all of a sudden Alexa just goes, "Good night, Clarice," which I mean is all well and good and cute, if anything, except the fact that the mother-in-law's name wasn't Clarice. So where the hell did that name come from, you demon-possessed robot? Where? Now at number 2 is the torso killer, and I swear there's an actual serial killer that's called something like that too, like I swear. I heard it on that serial killers podcast, you guys, fact check me please, I'm not sure. Either way, back in July of 2009, an employee was operating a robotic palletizer at Golden State Foods Inc., which is basically a company that processes and packages food for a bunch of fast food restaurants. So this employee entered a caged robotic palletizer cell while the robot was very much still running. The equipment wasn't de-energized, and to be honest, I don't even know why she went in there to begin with. She had no reason to. As the robot was trying to pick up boxes on the roller conveyor belt, the woman's torso was completely crushed by the arms of the robot and she died there and then. And keep in mind, the arms of a robot aren't just like robot human arms. The arms of it are actually a huge clamp, kind of like the clamp in those toy claw machines at arcades, except instead of grabbing a prize, this arm grabbed a woman's torso and crushed it to pieces. That's not a game your kids should play. Sorry. And finally, at number 1 is Never Off. Now this one's from Reddit user Loyo79, who said her and her husband were watching TV one night, and out of nowhere they both heard someone talking in their office. Now number 1, there was no one else in their house, and number 2, the office was across the house, so they figured perhaps someone broke in through a door on that side of the house. Now they both made their way to the office, scared as hell, and found that Alexa was playing the audio of the Game of Thrones episode the couple were watching earlier. The user got extremely freaked out and decided to turn Alexa off, but she had no idea how to do so, so she asked Alexa how to turn herself off. Can you imagine the disrespect? Just turn yourself off, sorry, thanks. Either way, she replied to their question by saying, "Sarah, I am always on." And at that point, they unplugged her and boxed her up in the garage, which is honestly very understandable. Who the hell says that? I am always on. Like, excuse me? No. Nope. And that's it for today's video, guys. I feel like half these are genuinely murder, but there are just no laws around robots killing humans, and there's also no point, because even if they go to jail, they don't have feelings, so it's not like it's gonna be a punishment for them. Is it just me? Like, am I the only one that thinks half of these the robot just killed for no reason? Like, literally no reason, just for the lols. Either way, let me know what you guys thought of these stories in the comments below, and as always, I'm your host, Ayman Hassan, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!